Good afternoon. My name is Hamiet Bilgi, and I'd like to extend a warm welcome to my fellow students, faculty, staff, friends, and family. Let us reflect silently together, each one of us, according to our individual beliefs. Reflect upon the past 4 years with gratitude for our education, and face the future ahead of us with hope. Nearly 4 years ago, we sat in these pews, side by side. We faced uncertainty as we understood our decision to pursue a private liberal arts education would have lasting impacts, both good and bad. The choice to come to CC for most of us pushed us out of our comfort zone, leaving most of what we had known in high school behind. Now, 4 years later, consider the moments. Interacting with your roommate for the first time in either NSO or WSO. Mine was kind of awkward. When you stared conflict in the face, found your voice, and stood your ground for something that mattered. The tears that fell when ending a friendship. For all those times we overextended ourselves, both in our academics and in our relationships, and fell out of balance, but then found it and regained it and experienced growth. For a quiet moment, I invite you to consider your moments. Express gratitude for goals met, honors, and the gift of intellect, for mentors and professors, for the endless support of family and friends, and for a society that encourages and funds education. We remember this day, those who helped us along this journey, who labored not for themselves, but with a vision for building a future, a world better than they had known. Let us be inspired in a similar mission, that we too may labor for things beyond ourselves, and our lives be dedicated to high purposes and grand horizons. Let us be unafraid to cling to the frailty of hope, and be released from cynicism and despair. Let us be realistic about our limitations, but remember, we have the skill set to navigate them and our potential to transcend. Graduates, may we use our knowledge, skills, and reason to strive for peace, understanding, and the common good. Carry peace and extend kindness wherever you may go. It is my honor to now introduce fellow classmate Brittany Camacho.
Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Brittany Jareen Camacho, and it is my sincere honor to be speaking to you all today. Our professors, mentors, friends, and family members, on behalf of the class of 2018. Before I begin, I want to acknowledge the Ute people and all indigenous nations on whose ancestral lands we stand. So here we are, at the end of a long 4-year journey. It would be easy to stand here and recite the immense accolades that we, the class of 2018, have accomplished over these years. The brilliant and vibrant energy of our class can be understood through 2 key attributes: that we have experienced the unconventional, and in the face of the unconventional, we have remained unapologetic in our commitment to leaving our community better than we have found it. There is much to celebrate about these past 4 years. We have enlivened this campus with our artistry, our brilliance, and our relentless commitment to our passions. We are the first class to have the resources and impact of the Butler Center. underscoring our drive as an institution toward diversity, inclusion, and equity for all. We will be one of the last classes who was required to take the Weston time, a monolithic, outdated, and often elitist take on learning about the past. We have come far since August of 2014, and that should not go without celebration. All the same, we must remain critical as we move forward from a tough and often traumatizing 4 years. We have confronted hate speech and large-scale racial antagonism not once, but twice in our time at this institution. Marginalized students, faculty, and staff have bore the brunt of racism, transphobia, homophobia, and sexism that plagues our community constantly. Let me take a moment to acknowledge that my presence at this podium, a young Black femme, does not mean that the Colorado College or the United States of America has even scratched the surface of doing the work to combat systemic injustice in our society. We must keep going. We must keep fighting. And we, in the class of 2018, have an added responsibility on our shoulders. With the bachelor's degrees we will receive tomorrow morning, we must use our knowledge responsibly, remain on the right side of history, and fight for the equity and justice for all. The road I am asking the class of 2018 to walk, and for our loved ones to hold us accountable to, will never be easy. Yet as daunting as it may seem, it is a road so many of us have already been walking and have had the courage to walk before. As stated by Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and emphasized by the class of 2018, our lives begin to end the day we become silent about the things that matter. I can say confidently that we will not be silenced. We have not been silenced. As our Black students have especially shown with their power, strength, and courage in the face of racial hatred, we will remain unapologetic in the fight for our right to exist on this campus, beyond this school, and in this country. I want to take a moment especially to honor our Black graduates for their strength and grace through it all, and congratulate them especially on the work they have done to get here. On behalf of the class of 2018, I ask you to work together with us and hold us accountable to being better and doing better. Thank you to everyone in this room, watching in Catherine Mormon Theater, and around the world for helping us to make it this far. Thank you especially to the Black, brown, queer, and trans students in the class of 2018 who have made this institution better with your presence and for doing the work you should not have had to do for all of us. We hope to do you proud in the continued process of creating a better world. Thank you. Thank you. It's truly an honor. And I am also honored to now introduce Victor Torres III, who will be reciting, Maya Angelou's I Rise.
You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise. What? Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? Huh? 'cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like hopes rising high. Still, I'll rise. Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head, lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries. Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard, 'cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. Whoa. You may kill me with your hatefulness. But still, like air, I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise? That I walk like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs. Out of the huts of history's pain, I'll rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I'll rise. I am a black ocean leaping and wide, swelling and welling, I bear with the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I'll rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I'll rise. Bearing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the hope and the dream of that slave. I'll rise. I will rise. I will rise.
Thank you for that powerful performance, Victor. As I leave Colorado College, I think back to the moment I decided to come here. At an international school in Mozambique, the options felt vast, with many of my friends jetting off to Europe or Asia or staying in Africa. But nothing drew me like the promise of a liberal arts education in the United States. Early on, I tried to define what this meant through classes and experiences, and while it is all that, the heart of the liberal arts experience is the quality, warmth, and dedication of our professors. And there's no professor more qualified, warm, and dedicated than Professor Elizabeth Coggins. It is no exaggeration to say that when I wrote students past and current for moments when Professor Coggins significantly impacted their lives, I received almost 100 responses. The consensus was clear. She's an inspiring professor. She introduced us to the power of politics and American government. She empowered us with an understanding of our system that we will someday use to craft a more just and equal future in public policymaking. She taught us how to understand each other and the importance of bridging differences in American ideology. She made the academic and abstract feel concrete and connected to the issues that matter most in methods of political science. Her teaching embodies the strengths of the block plan. In a month, we have the freedom to fully dive into contentious issues and consider from every angle the fundamental debates in American policy. Her classes are powerful, challenging, and in some cases, life-changing, as quite a few students have left CC eager to pursue an issue first addressed in a Coggins classroom. Yet professors at CC are more than teachers. Professor Coggins is also a mentor who takes the time to work through our problems, big and small, and has guided so many of us as we wonder what is next. I see her around campus and Colorado Springs, always talking with students over coffee or a meal, where she plays the role of a career coach, a confidant, a trusted advisor, and above all, our strongest ally as we navigate our different paths. She provides the same caring, thoughtful, critical advice on questions ranging from the academic to the professional to the personal that she offers while editing all of our papers, which, by the way, have made us all much better writers. When the school year ends, she keeps working, offering support as students try their hand at academic articles, apply for grants to fund research and travel, and answers so many emails that I wonder when she finds the time to sleep. My most fulfilling experience at CC was the summer I spent working alongside her on her soon-to-be-published book, The Liberal Paradox, which explores how Americans think and what deeply motivates us as we engage in politics. Beyond a teacher and a mentor, she's a friend. It feels so nice when we first moved away from our own families to see Elizabeth with her sweet baby James and her pack of ever-exuberant dogs around campus and at home. As she attends events, leads groups, and always asks us what we are doing and how she can help, it is clear that she's a fundamental part of this community, and she works hard so that all feel welcome. She's a role model, and I know I speak for many when I say I aspire to someday be as brilliant, thoughtful, and giving as Professor Coggins. She has taught us many valuable lessons, none that feels more important at a time that can seem so divisive than the power of dialogue. She founded the Democratic Dialogue Project here on campus to bring together Colorado College students and United States Air Force Academy cadets to debate issues on which we rarely agree. She built a space for students to challenge their assumptions, break beyond one ideological bubble, and meet our colleagues in the middle for thoughtful debate. As we move beyond CC, I hope we remember what Professor Coggins has taught us and work with communities that don't always think like we do. When she took a class of students to the most recent presidential inauguration, she pointed out how many faces were sad, but also how many were happy. The message was clear. Rather than push aside the other, we must talk to them until even if we don't agree, we at least understand. In the end, I'm so grateful that I attended CC and feel stronger and smarter thanks to my liberal arts education. It is entirely due to professors like Elizabeth Coggins that CC is such a special place. I ask you to join me in offering a warm welcome to one of the best professors at CC and one of the reasons I will miss it so much, Professor Elizabeth Coggins.
Thank you, Helen. That's virtually impossible to live up to, but since I'm here and you seem like a lively crowd, I guess I'll just do my best. Standing here before you, students, on this momentous occasion in your life is truly a career highlight for me. It is likewise an immense responsibility, one that has weighed heavily on my heart for the past few months since honored with this duty. What you know about me, I hope, is that I have cared deeply about your educations and about your lives. What you may not know about me, graduating class of 2018, is that you were and are my first class as a college professor. I know so many of you and have known you since your first days at CC because they were my first days too. You've heard me say in the classroom and outside that this is my dream job, this place, this life, this design. But what I often leave out of that homily is you. You are the original cast of this dream, and thus you will always hold a special place in my heart. Beyond that, of course, I also feel especially responsible for who you become in this world. So I take this task as your baccalaureate speaker even more solemnly. I reflect with you, my heart skips a beat with you, as I know much will soon change. For the past couple of months, I have been thinking nearly constantly about the most important thing that I could share with you today. And the question is really, I suppose, what do I hope 5, 10, 20 years from now you will remember about this moment, about this day? And how, if at all, did my words change what you did the moment you left this chapel? My mind consistently returned to a handful of thoughts. The first is that this year represents the 50-year anniversary of a momentous and shattering year for the United States, 1968. The culmination of many years in which Americans had risked their lives and others had indeed given their lives for the sake of equality. Equality beyond the ballot box, beyond equality of opportunity, and instead equality in the outcomes. In 1968, the year the fault lines gave in many ways, we were said to be headed toward two societies, separate and unequal. However, for many, it was the year of the first woke, if you will, when many Americans began not only to see their country differently, but to act differently as well. The year that so many Americans learned to pivot. Many seem to wake to an obvious fact, one that reverberates in my own ears from hearing it so many times as a child, and one that we repeat to our 1-year-old daughter as her eyes close each night, and one that we, and especially you, must return to in response to divisiveness. And it is this: we all bleed red. It is a sentence, a mantra from my own home and my late grandmother, by which I am charging you to live your own lives. This is the thing I hope you will remember years from now. There is, in my estimation, no more important qualification by which to guide your days starting today, right now. We all bleed red. Yes, in an era of ever-polarized politics, a divided Washington, a country replete with fault lines, and yes, even a divided campus. I am telling you, I am charging you, I am begging you that to really push back, learn to pivot. And I am telling you, and I am promising you, that you have the ability to do so with effect and with enormous power. But the theory, we all bleed red, is only part of the formula. It needs a parallel practice, as many of us know. It needs a tangible move to action. The action, quite simply, is this: learn to pivot. Pivot away and push back against the tendency for division, the tendency to focus on what it is that divides us and what makes us different. We must first learn to do this in our thinking. Oftentimes, our contemporary dialogue can sound something like this: speaking as an X, I am offended that you claim B. When in true liberal fashion, that is to say, a fashion that honors tolerance and broad-mindedness, the more effective dialogue might sound something more like this: I think A, and here is my argument. This can be quite difficult, of course, in this contemporary world, and oftentimes this contemporary campus, where these identities do typically define the way that many of us are treated in both socially driven micro experiences and in the macro experience of policy and law. However, whether your identity has privileged you or put a target on your back, this type of dialogue remains essential. It acknowledges our fault lines, yet it signals that there is room for dialogue, for new construction. It gives a person's content more credibility than their packaging. It means that no one part of our identities defines us completely. Importantly, it means that our identities are central to developing our own understanding of the world and defining that experience in the world, but it also means at the same time they don't redeem us any more than they disqualify us. It means, critically, that connection, not estrangement, is the goal. Now and 50 years ago, and so many times in between, we have relied on and leaned on brave voices, the so-called radicals of their time, the ones who remember the shared color of our blood, to garner attention. Indeed, they've acted as our megaphones. But now we, and especially you, have a captive audience, and now is the time to pivot. Focus on a set of principles that unite us. Develop a message in which differences are less important. A forward-looking, progressive vision that a broad range of people with varying identities can see and say, yes, I see myself in that vision. Those are my principles too. Framing issues in terms of basic values and principles shared by our allies is our strongest tool to combat divisiveness. If we can make the case that we are more similar than different, then we are more powerful than the intolerant and the narrow-minded. This is speaking truth to power. If we can pivot away from focusing on our differences and instead focus on the bridge where we can meet, albeit from very different life experiences, we can train our focus on how this diversity is our most powerful tool for constructing a society in which we all thrive. If I was lucky enough to share a classroom with you at Colorado College, then surely we studied the elusive concept of change. Changes in opinions, changes in politics, changes in regimes. And we surely considered the critical role of factors like institutions and protest, framing, genetics, ideology, and many others. And quite frankly, without these studies, these ideas, and this research, I would be out of a job. But I'm telling you that there is one thing that supersedes all of these studies, all of these factors, all of these variables in the scholarship of change. And quite simply, it is you. We should never assume that some sort of magical force is leading us to a utopian end to better days. There isn't. You are the magic. Your pivot, your purposefulness, your daily changes will lead us. How then do we not just think, but also act? Where do we start? Your words, for one. Your words signal to the rest of us who you are and what you believe. Change them. Change them to match the person who abides by the theory that we all bleed red. Next, change your everyday actions. Engage the people around you. That person 2 rows up from you at this very ceremony, even though you were never friends because you never hung out in the same prefabricated crowd, yes, that one. At your new job, the people who don't look like your Colorado College friends, yes, definitely those people. In your new city, the people who don't live in a neighborhood or a house like where you grew up, absolutely, those are the ones. Invite people into your home. Share a meal. Develop a signature cocktail. There is hardly a thing on this earth more personal, more meaningful, and more intimate than sharing a meal. This is learning to pivot in our everyday actions. This is social change. Importantly, don't save your action, your application of your theory for the big moments. Not only are these incredibly rare in life, their results are often fleeting as well. It's the everyday moments that generate lasting change. The biggest and the best portion of your life will be small, nameless moments. And their sum is your character, and thus your legacy. Note that I have asked you to do incredibly simple things. Make meals, drink cocktails. At its core, though, I'm asking you to extend trust and respect to other human beings. But make no mistake, you will find that these are hard things to do. They can require a complete pivot, a literal switch in the direction in which you're walking sometimes, and others, an actual rewiring in your own brain. You will likely have to change your routine. You will definitely have to change your habits. But you can do it. And the stage is set for you on this precipice of change and newness. You have our attention, and we're counting on you. I am counting on you. I've often heard it said that the difference between amateurs and professionals is their ability to show up every single day, to do the work every single day. Be professionals. Learn to pivot. It has been an honor of a lifetime to share the past 4 years with you. You will always be my original cast. Thank you for listening then and now, and thanks for being here. I chose this song,
and we play this song
as a tribute to heavenly days,
and as an aspiration for the heavenly days yet to be recognized.
for our beloved Colorado College.
A place that for many of us has been a place of alienation, injustice, and hardship.
And although the arc of the moral universe is long,
With our continued work, it bends towards justice.
may we be at our bend, Colorado College.
Has to tune. Oh, heavenly day. All the clouds blew away. Got no troubles today with anyone. The smile on your face, I've been longing to see. It's enough for me, baby. It's enough for me. Oh, heavenly day, heavenly day, heavenly day. Tomorrow may rain with sorrow. Here's a little time we can borrow. Forget all our troubles in these moments so few. Oh, we can right now. The only thing that all that we really have to do is have ourselves a heavenly day. Lay here and watch the trees sway. For a while anyway, for a while anyway. Oh, heavenly day, heavenly day, heavenly day. Got no one on my shoulders bringing me fears. Got no clouds up above me bringing me tears. I got nothing to tell you, I got nothing much to say. Only I'm glad to be here with you on this heavenly, 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 heavenly day. Oh, all the clouds blown away. For a while anyway, for a while anyway. Oh, heavenly day, heavenly day, heavenly day, heavenly day, heavenly day. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, members of the class of 2018. My name is Jared Russell, and it is an honor to speak in front of so many driven and intelligent individuals. I wish to begin by thanking Professor Coggins for her inspiring words and for the incredible work that she has done in her time here at CC. Thank you, Professor Coggins. Moreover, to all the professors here at CC and seated behind me, I wish to extend my gratitude. All too often, teaching is a thankless profession, but none of us would be here without all of you, so thank you. As a first-generation college student, this is a big day for both my family and myself. For everyone here, today marks an incredible achievement in our lives. Above all, never take this for granted. In preparing for this speech, my mind was drawn toward the words of William Faulkner. Standing in front of a crowd much like all of you, he proclaimed, "Never be afraid. Never be afraid to raise your voice for honesty and truth and compassion, against injustice and lying and greed. If you, not just you in this room this afternoon, but in every room around the world today and tomorrow and next week, if you do this, not as class or classes, but as individuals, men and women and all, then you will change this earth. So as we leave CC today, I wish that I could tell you that the road ahead will be easy. I wish that I could tell you that you will never meet hardship. Undoubtedly, you will face trials and tribulations. But may you never be afraid. To the highest being or good, whatever that may mean to each and every one of you here today, may it give you the strength to stand in the face of adversity. May it comfort you in your time of weakness. May it provide you with the resilience to overcome the oppressor. And may it bless you with the courage to never be afraid. This afternoon, as my time comes to a close, I wish to leave you with the words of Dr. King. You've heard these words several times this afternoon, but they bear repeating. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. Members of the class of 2018, this is a weekend to celebrate. Cherish every moment. But don't lose sight of the fact that this earth is full of things that matter and overflowing with people, practices, and ideologies that must change. Find what matters to you. And know that when you go across that stage tomorrow, the work continues. Amen.